Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here, either live or recorded. Today's March 8th, and we're going to be discussing the March 2nd All Consultant Call, which is or was refocus on the catalog and fragrance delivery systems. So let's see. Oh, wait, no, that's wrong. No, it is right. Yeah. Let's see. Refocus on March. Yeah, that was the first one. I'm like, the date, the way they put it in is
I thought I had the wrong thing, so I was looking and I got through half of it, but
okay.
I thought I had the wrong recording.
Yeah, because the way they put it in, it says 1/5, like it'd be January 5th, but it was March 2nd. But it's under March training, so that's the only one that happened so far until tomorrow. So, okay, well, since you're oh, we've got somebody else on live. Yay. Okay, we'll see if hi, Shauna. All right, so I've been kind of going, if you guys, just before we get started, if you've been on these either recorded or live, you know that I've been kind of going back and forth of whether I do like announcements as far as what people are doing in their business. And I've been doing a lot of kind of asking around and what people think. And I think it's important that you guys know, well, you get your recognition if there's something going on in your business that is significant. And so I am going to go over starting this today, this week, that I'm going to kind of go over an overview of what is happening so far in our group. And just because some people really like to hear their names shouted out, you know, they're working really hard and they really want that to, you know, be recognized. And I totally understand that. And I think I'm actually a person that likes to kind of see, you know, if I'm doing things good or whatever. So the only thing that I can't do is share numbers. I can't say where they're at, but I can say who's in the top. I'm going to do top 20 since it's our entire group. And just so you know, that's the reason why your numbers aren't being shouted out, is because it's considered a private stat that not everybody likes their numbers called out. But I do want to call out if you're in the top 20, because you know, you deserve it. And if you absolutely don't want your name even said, you can message me and I'll put you on a list of do not shout out your name or something. So first and foremost, so we are 8 days in, and so far for the month of March, Nicole Wilson from New Jersey is #1 in sales. Number 2 is, and she's a star consultant. Number 2 is Michelle Brooks, a director from Nevada. Number 3 is Karen Fabio, a star consultant from Pennsylvania. 4 is director Lauren Clift from Nevada. 5 is Shannon Booth, an essential consultant from Nevada. So she just joined us recently. So that's awesome that she's off to a great start. Amanda Bray, a star consultant from Nevada. Anna Colon, I don't know how that's pronounced, so I apologize if it's wrong. A now certified, she promoted this month, from New York, consultant Anna Colon, I'll say Colon. Cinnamon August Stanley from North Dakota, a certified consultant. Rebecca Reed Shank, a star consultant from Canada. Jennifer Bendez, star consultant from New Jersey. Teresa O'Brien, star consultant from Nevada. Desiree Alguin, again, forgive me if I'm hacking your name up, from Mexico. Give me a second. I'm just going to find who the last person, so I don't, so 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so Teresa Cook from Arizona, a star consultant. Antoinette Cahill, a lead consultant from New Jersey. Erica Holden, star consultant from Nevada. Lisa Garcia, lead consultant from Nevada. Nadia Herrera from Nevada, lead consultant. Amber Kraft, a certified consultant from Ohio. Daphne Fernandez, an essential consultant from Ohio. Oh wait, I'm sorry, from sorry guys, from California. And in 20th place, so far, these numbers can change. So don't think that you're doing bad or good, like, whatever. It's just so far up until the 8th. Melissa Henning, a star consultant from Nevada. And there's a lot of other people that are, a lot of you that are already active, which is awesome. It's only not even the 15th of the month. I always encourage everybody to strive to keep doing those best practices that the company sets goals for us in the beginning, because it's showing us the best practices to continue in your business, which is strive to put in at least your 500 in the first 15 days. What that does is just basically shows you that you can do it in a full 30 or 31 days if you could do it in the first 15 days. And it also has you kind of be able to breathe and pay attention to other parts of your business. Once you start a team, you will be able to carve some time out to coach and grow your team, and focus on your business that's not direct selling in that month. You may be booking parties for the following month or later in that month, preparing mail outs or whatever you do. But it's nice they call it front loading, meaning you front load with bookings as well, and front loading your PRV in the beginning of the month. So you have a whole, 15 to 16 more days to do more if you want, which is a lot of people strive to hit their 2,000. So you can have that 5% sales bonus, which is always nice to make 5% more. It can be a significant difference on your paycheck. And there's just so many other things, follow up, really be able to focus on following up with people and actually having conversations, not just trying to get a sale, but finding out what's going on with them. And, again, maybe seeing if booking a party would be something they want to do, because it really is a benefit, you guys. One of the things that I have been thinking about a lot is, mindset is always one of the most important things for your life, but also your business. Because if we tell ourselves that booking parties or sponsoring people or even showing up for your team and coaching them one-on-one as well as in like a group setting isn't important, it's really hurting your growth and your opportunity to really maximize this true potential. Because direct sales was actually created for people that don't have a lot of time to, go and get a part-time job, which normal part-time jobs for like a brick and mortar, the minimum is usually about 20 hours. And not everybody has an extra 20 hours to carve out in order to make that certain amount of money, if that makes sense. So direct sales is so you can make the same, if not more amount of money in less time. And so, but the real smart way of growing your business is through sponsoring, but also helping your teams understand how, yes, we can control bringing new people on, but eventually your team is going to be the bulk of what income you actually get. So if your team members are not being coached and trained, you could be busting your butt all day long every single month and even bringing new people on and selling over $2,000. You could be doing all those things, but if you're the only one doing those things, you are not going to get the same benefit of what direct sales actually provides for you, which is working smarter, not harder, and doing less. You're putting less amount of time in your business, but getting a way bigger result and having a bigger impact on your paycheck, but also just the freedom that Scentsy, especially Scentsy's compensation plan provides. So I just haven't really talked about that in a while, and I want to really throw that out because there's 4 areas in our business that is so important, and you have to be growing yourself. I was just talking to a director earlier this afternoon, and we both really, it's so important that if you're the same person that you were when you joined Scentsy, whether it was yesterday or 10 years ago, you're going to struggle in your business, because this is a business of human nature, meaning we're dealing with people and all walks of life every single day with your clients, your hosts, and your team members. And so if you're not growing on a personal level of discovering your own strengths, your own areas that need to be worked on, and really what I'm going to say is really not working on yourself as far as where are my barriers? Where are my thresholds in life, first of all? Because the one thing that I will tell you, and you can ask any director and above that has been around and, you know, in this business for even a year, they will tell you that the growth in dealing with people is the hardest part. And the reason why is because we tend to treat other people the way we think that we want to be treated, or train the way we think that it's important that how you learn and things like that. And so when a sponsor, director, and above, whether you're a lead consultant and just have one person, in order to help them, we really have to know yourself and be okay with throwing yourself kind of under the bus and sharing your weaknesses and be confident that you do have strengths to share. They may not be necessarily in Scentsy, but I promise you, if you have an area that you can say, I'm really good at this area, if you marry that to your Scentsy business, you're going to thrive. If it's when people separate the two, and I have talked about this a lot, but you know, it never can be talked about too much, because that's where I've seen in almost 10 years the biggest struggle. And it's not the business, because the business is literally a slam dunk, you guys. We have the best quality product on the market as far as fragrance. We have a lifetime warranty program. We have a company that backs up everything that happens, whether it's our fault or not, or the product's fault or not. They always go above and beyond. So you're literally dealing with a slam dunk company, as well as compensation plan and business structure. It's join by host, join by host, join by host. Very simple, that we have to perfect. Or if we're but then at the same time, and I use that word perfect, if we're always growing, we're getting to a different level, right? I felt I perfected that join host buy in my first 6 months of my business. But if I stop there, because, oh, I'm sponsoring 2 to 5 people every month. Oh, I'm selling well over $2,000 every month. If I got that, I hate to say the word, but cocky, and was like, oh, I know what I'm doing, and never stopped training or did stop training and thinking I knew enough and I didn't need to learn anything else. I didn't need to learn any more about myself. I would not be with you here today, because it's those struggles within ourselves that really get in the way. And so if we're constantly focusing on where things, how we tick, how we feel emotionally loved, like what are your love languages, like you have to know that about yourself in order to help other people figure that out as well, if that makes sense. So I really want you guys, if you're going to write anything down today, I really want you to write down of what do I want out of this business, and what do I need to work on in order to get that. And I want you to also do in 2 ways. What do I have to work on a personal level, and what do I have to work on a professional level? So with your Scentsy business. And if you do have another job, go ahead and do that with your other job, because it will help you as well. Obviously, you can literally marry everything in your life to the things you learn with Scentsy. And all these things that I'm talking about are all things that I've learned, but also still have to work out every single day, every single month. It doesn't mean, I kind of wanted to throw this out there, that there are certain things that won't change in the business, that as far as what needs to happen, sponsoring, booking parties, and selling the product. Okay. And then you might, obviously selling the product and booking parties kind of go together. But the thing is you could book a party and get no sales. Okay. So we have to remember that there's still work involved, because you can, yay, I got a party, but then nothing happens if there's no strategy behind it as far as how are those sales going to happen. Okay. And so if you're struggling in a certain way, now I'm always going to cater to the people that are on live, you guys, because I can use them as examples. It's not because, you know, your situation isn't important, but I have everybody that's live on is a sponsor. So that means they all have a team. Okay. And so meaning there's more to our business than just selling and just booking a party. We have to also figure out how we can help other people, because they're going to help you, the sponsor, be able to grow your business. The goal is always to focus on building your front line. Absolutely, never will change. However, there's a point that your business is going to be more beneficial focusing on people that are already in your team and growing. So you're going to put more time into people that are already in your team. Now, I want to make sure that everybody, I have a leadership group page. So if you're not on it, you may not be a lead consultant yet, but you've sponsored. If you are thinking to yourself, well, I have a team, but you may not have promoted to lead or above yet, and that's why you're not. So when I talk with them, I want to make sure that I'm sharing leadership advice. But I also realize that I don't want you guys to not get this information just because you haven't promoted yet, okay? Because you might be sponsoring. The goal in direct sales, and that means whether, you know, whatever company, you can honestly, if you've been in another company before, the one thing that's similar is that the more you put into other people, the more you're going to get out of your business, okay? And so I'll always say it. I should just make a sign that says two sides to everything, because I always say this to you guys. But on one side, building your front line, which is something that's in your control, is absolutely important. Okay. And it should continuously happen. That's why the incentive structures are always, the qualification always have to do with sponsoring and helping them get to that first level, because we have to support our teams. On the other side is that your business, your team, now your team, in case you don't know how that works, the people that you sponsor and the people they sponsor are your team. However, on a stewardship level, the director of that team, it's considered their team. That's why they get to name their team name officially with Scentsy. And if for any reason, a consultant decided to say, I'm not getting any training, I'm not getting any support with my sponsor or my upline, it actually falls the responsibility on your director. Okay, so that's why it's considered their team, because even though as a sponsor, you do have a qualification to actually train a requirement, not a qualification, a requirement to train your team and have communication with them. But if you fail, which some people do, they don't want anything to do with training their team, the responsibility falls on the director. Okay, so it's kind of a sticky thing, like an emotional thing, especially those of you that are really trying to grow a business and really do want to promote to director and above. So you're doing those things, you're doing the actions that directors do. Unfortunately, in the end, it's still the director's team until you promote to director. So if that's important to you, then just keep doing what you're doing and striving to become a director. But until then, it falls in their responsibility. And then as me, I'm a superstar director, which means I'm in control, meaning not control, wrong verbiage, Jess. I have stewardship over everybody. So meaning if something's not happening, they're going to, Scensy's going to check in with me, and I'm going to have to check in with those directors and find out what are they doing and what are they not doing. And then I would have to step in and provide that training that may not be happening. Because so there is a lot of things, if you really think about it, it's very similar to a lot of businesses out there in that sense, that there's a level of, what's the word? It's called like upline, but like, help me, you guys, like not authority, but what's the word am I thinking of, you guys? Chain of command, that's what it is. Can I repeat what, Melissa? I'm sorry. I just opened up the chat right now. I apologize.
It was a hot minute ago. You said if there's anything that you're going to write down at all,
Oh,
write this down. And you said, what do I want out of this business? And then right after that, you said something and I brain farted it.
okay, no problem. Thank you for probably a lot of people were doing the same thing. What do you want out of your life and what do you want out of your business? And usually those two things are going to help each other because when we don't know what we want out of life, there's no way we're going to be putting efforts into a business that we don't see benefiting our life, if that makes sense. So we need to make sure that we understand like when people promote to would tell, okay, for instance, somebody will tell me, Jess, I want to be a director. What I'm going to say is why? Because what director means to this person may be completely different what director means to the next person. So I may be working with somebody that says, I just want the title. I just want to have that title. That's really all I want to put director on everything. That's all I really am looking for right now. And I really don't know why, but that's just it. I've had people say that, like, it's just about it. And when I did some coaching and kind of really dug and asked some questions, it really had to do with like, they wanted to feel like they had a status because they didn't feel that way in their personal life. They didn't feel like they were important in their personal life. And so having a director title in Scentsy kind of made up for that. And so I had to, I mean, I have to agree with everything, but and be okay with it. But I had to understand that, like, okay, that makes sense now that that's where you're going for. So that's what we'll focus on for now and what needs to happen. But then the next person will say, I want to be a director because I want to make a certain amount of money every month in order to put it towards this. Or I've had people say, I want to be a director because I know I need to be director before I can be superstar director. And then I've had to say, well, that's not necessarily true. There's people that have literally went from, you know, it's not very often, but there's been people that went from, you know, star consultant to, or superstar consultant to star director out of nowhere in the same month, which sounds crazy, but it's happened. And directors to superstar directors, and that probably superstar consultant to superstar director in crazy months like last year, you know? So there's nothing really cut and dry with this business except join, buy, host. Okay. I know I'm getting off the topic, but I've been really, really inspired to talk to you guys about this today because I told you that it's so important for me to be vulnerable and transparent with you guys in order for you to learn from me in any way. If you do, you may not, but you may get a nugget that really makes a difference. So in the beginning of my business, I was so consumed with just growing it. I mean, that's all I focused on. Okay. There were days that I didn't get out of my pajamas. That is not healthy. Waking up and just rolling out of bed and going right to my office. Well, today, almost 10 years in, I had one of those days. And I literally just took a shower before I got on this call, you guys. And I'm like, I need to tell them this. The reason why is because this business, you can develop systems, which are so important, but you also have to be okay with things not going specifically the way you want them to. There always has to have room for flexibility. Otherwise, you will go insane. Okay. You will start to question yourself, question your ability. There may be, because the thing is that life changes, right? And when life changes, your business will change because you're working from home. Everything is involved with what goes on in your house, right? Because you're doing your business in your house. So your life affects your business. So if your child is sick, today, one of the reasons why I didn't get out of my pajamas is because I was with my daughter because she wasn't feeling well. And I had that ability to just do that. And then I got on a call that lasted like 4 hours with somebody that really needed to talk, and I needed to talk to them. And so some days your business isn't always going to be I booked a party, I sold this amount of money this day, today, and I, brought somebody else on, or I did a coaching call. It may just be one little thing that you plugged in because that's all you could do that day. And that has to be okay, because if we start telling ourselves that you're not successful because you didn't do all the things on your list that should have been done in your mind, it should have been done, eventually you're never going to be satisfied with what your status is in your business and what you're doing. So even as somebody that has reached the highest level in the business, there's still areas that sometimes I have to be just, I have to roll with it and say, you know what, I could have done a ton of other things today that need to be done, but where are my priorities? My family, obviously. And if I also have a lot of medical issues, so some days I wake up and I just can't do what I'd like to do, I have to be okay with that. And I want you guys to know that that's part of the business that if you can get to a point of accepting, you're going to be able to be so much more effective when you are able to really turn on your business, meaning like you're having a good day and your schedule is working, you're going to be that much more effective. But the days that don't turn out the way you want them to, if you start beating yourself up over that, it's going to be a lot harder to get back on the train, right? Because you're coming from a negative place. So we're all going to have our own goals and standards in our business. Like, you know, you may have a standard of like, I don't walk in my office until I'm dressed. That's a great standard, an awesome standard. However, if for some reason, even if it's one day out of the entire year, that doesn't happen, we don't want to look at that as a failure. Does that make sense? So I want to get back really fast because we're halfway into the call and I do want to discuss that training call we're supposed to talk about. I want you guys to really understand that you don't have to be doing everything in a compensation plan structure that Scentsy provides. There's a saying that teamwork makes the dream work. Okay, write that down too if you've never heard that. Teamwork makes the dream work. There is no way at all that I could possibly have a group wholesale volume of over 100,000 by myself. Is there? Nope, not possible. I couldn't even do a 10,000 wholesale volume by myself at all. So I want you guys to really see the strengths of growing a team. The two sides, it is helping you and your goals, but when you're focusing on helping them achieve their goals, everybody's going to be happy. But I don't want you ever thinking that you have to be the sole person that makes everything happen. Because if you do, you're not going to be enjoying the true blessing of the compensation plan that is provided for you. Because you might as well go work at another job that you got to do your job, your position. You know, Cindy gets hired for this. Cindy has to do X, Y, Z, and she's the only one that does the X, Y, Z in that position. The compensation plan isn't written that way. Okay, it's written that we help enough people to open the door to the Scentsy opportunity, and then they are able to open the opportunity of getting their goals achieved, and we just support them. So there's people that are very successful that have like a small front line and a small team, but they have a huge group. So they're still benefiting in a tremendous way with that a paycheck that they would not be able to do if other people hadn't been showing up for their own business and sponsoring and growing their teams and things like that. So this may be, a lot of you guys have been in it long enough that this is like, whatever, Jess. But I want you guys to remember that not everybody understands that. And so your team members may not understand that. They may be thinking, well, I'm the one that has to sell everything. I have to make sure my wholesale volume's where it's at. I have to be the one that's sponsoring. Yes, in the beginning per se, when you're starting your business, yes, we kind of have to take that on ourselves. However, if we're not teaching our teams to do the same thing, we're going to be like those gerbils just running around and not getting anywhere. You're going to get a decent sized paycheck, but you're not going to anyway get the paycheck that you actually deserve by the amount of effort you're putting in. By if you would put that effort somewhere else, meaning helping your teams do the same thing that you're doing. Hold on a second. Sometimes it's building the relationships. It's good to have the reminder. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we all need reminders. I mean, that's the one thing, like I said, when when I said to you guys that there's never going to be a cut and dry, it's because we're constantly evolving as people, where our lives are changing, our business are changing. And when we change, we sometimes forget about the real basics and we need those reminders. I've had to have, I constantly need reminders of things that I know. I just need somebody to remind me about them. And then I'm able to kind of take the reins and go, okay, I could do this again. But if we're not doing it all the time, like back of our hands, we always are going to need a refresher. And that may be in sales, that may be in booking parties or sponsoring. It may be all of the above, because everybody has their seasons of life. They're going to have seasons of their business. I always use myself as an example. I definitely have had some pretty hardcore seasons in my business and life. And the person that I was prior to my most devastating season of my life is totally different than the person I am today. And it's because I can't run my life thinking the way I did before, because I'm just a different person. Things are different. The way I feel about things are different, where my focus is different. So I'm going to lead and I'm going to run my business different, if that makes sense. And so it's very rare that you'll come across anybody that's seasoned in the business and have done, some things that, like growing their business to a certain level, that'll tell you, I've been doing the same thing since day one. I would actually ask, I would probably, send you a dollar or something just to be like, or whatever, if you could tell me that you literally had the same actions that the day you started that you're putting in your business, that even last year, it's possible last year you're doing the same functionality, but as you grow, you're going to have to make things change, because what worked for you with, a team of 5 is probably not going to work with you for you, a team of 1,000 or 500, unless you keep it super simple. Because I think when everything's like attainable, like you could see everybody in your downline, they're right there, perfect picture. You see everybody, what they're doing. You can, with an eyes glance, go, okay, this is where I need to chat with this person. Let me send all these people, whatever, and then you're done. But when you have pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of people, there has to be a system that you can just keep up with, and not feel like you're not enough. Like it's simple and there's strategy behind it. And then on another token, when you're not showing up for that specific system the way you'd like to, you also have to give yourself grace, because I'm an example. I sent out my little email, like better late than never, when I was really late with like December, whatever's. I'm just now working on January and it's March. I could beat myself up all day long and say that I'm a bad consultant, bad sponsor, bad leader, whatever, all day long. But then I get something in the mail from Scentsy from 3 months ago, and I had to go, well, wait a minute. If Scentsy can be 3 months behind and they have an entire department focused on recognition, I have to give myself a little grace on what I do with my team and how I recognize. So if there's any area that you're struggling, like you feel like you're not showing up the way you want to for your team or your business, your customers, hostesses, whatever, please give yourself grace, because one, you are recognizing it. That is a huge benefit. If you don't see something like wrong, I'm not saying, well, wrong again is not the right word, but you don't see that there's an area that is not working the way you'd like it to, that's when there would be an issue, because you think it's not an issue. But because you're recognizing it and saying, I would like to get stuff out within a month and maybe not 3 months. So that's when you're going to put effort towards trying to do it. And maybe you'll get it out. Like, I'm just using my situation as an example. Maybe next month I'll get out in 2 months instead of 3 months, or well, I'm only 2 months behind, but 1 month instead of 2 months. You know what I mean? So that's where you have room to grow, because you're recognizing those areas. So that was basically just what I keep getting in. Like, I was really impressed today to really talk about that this business is really simple, you guys, but it isn't easy, because it's always changing. the business as far as Scentsy, like products and just standards are changing. The way you market is different all the time. And if we're not okay with that, it can be really hard for some people because they come from a place of everything's kind of streamlined and everything is, this is the way things go. You may go to work and go, okay, I know exactly what I'm doing Monday through Friday, every single month. And that is your comfort zone. But when you think about your Scentsy business, every little thing is changing constantly. Your size of your team, new people are coming on. You have to build new relationships, like Melissa said, and there's constant work that is involved. But it gets easier as you grow your business, meaning grow your team, because this compensation plan really doesn't work unless you're looking for like $100 a month or something. And that is okay, because some people literally join just to either make $100 or save $100 by, getting the discount. But the people that are looking to actually, add an income to a certain volume of number, I don't know what that is. Income meaning to pay their car every month, or maybe they want to pay their mortgage every month. Maybe they want to quit their job and make Scentsy full time. One thing I want to share is that the reason why people are making $109,000 in a month in Scentsy is because it isn't simple. So the people that basically decide that you're going to be a part of that 1%, you're going to be doing things that isn't typical. You're going to be doing hard things that does really shake your confidence and shake your comfort zone. Because if everybody could do it, don't you think everybody would do it? Everybody would be getting to those top levels in the business, because it does take a certain person that decides that I want that and I deserve that. So the first step is you have to believe in yourself. Because if I can tell you guys how amazing you all are all day long, and point out all the amazing things about you and your spouse and your kids and the people that work with you in your day job. But if you don't see that yourself, it's going to be very hard for you to truly maximize what your true potential is in the business and in life. I mean, that's truly what it is. So if you're struggling with that, maybe start asking yourselves why. Why am I struggling with whether literally like 97% of the world literally has a worthy issue. And that's just because of society. Society tells us you should be doing this, this, and this. You should look this way. You should act this way. And when we don't like fit the cookie cutter of what the world thinks we should look like, we automatically think, well, why me? Why should I be that person? So you have to be your biggest advocate. I'm not saying you're not going to still struggle with it, but you also have to just intentionally tell yourself that you deserve it. That's where affirmations come in. You have to reprogram your brain and say, I am worthy. I can do this. I have something to offer, and I can contribute to other people's lives. Because that's really what we're doing when we're really getting into the point of maximizing our compensation plan with Scentsy, and we're really getting those big paychecks. It's because you're influencing and affecting what's the word? A good amount of people. Let's just say that. You can't be influencing or affecting, I don't know, anyways, affecting two people's lives and making $100,000 in a month, right? There's a good amount of people that you're really making a difference with. I make it on camera and put it out at home. Oh, that's awesome. For Jesse's Google Drive or one of the files. Awesome. Okay, thank you for sharing that for her, Melissa. Okay, so, but yeah, Nadia, the postcards that I have, I'm in the place that I can pay somebody to make them for me, because I am not creative at all. And I'm okay with saying that. Before I could afford to make that extra expense, I used everybody else's stuff. I just asked other people, what are you using for this? And I would use that. My welcome postcard to this day is the same one I literally created about 7 years ago. that somebody else shared with me. And all I did is I had somebody, the person that created it, just put it was her postcard, but she put my logo on it. And, but I bought 1,000. So obviously I haven't gone through them yet. I wish I could have, but I haven't gone through them yet. So I'm using them up. I put a new sticker on with my logo over my old Jesse's Angels logo. And I'm using those up. And so it's okay. Jen Audette, one of the most successful superstar directors in the company. She will tell you all day long that she's not creative. That's why I kind of was drawn to her when I first started Scentsy, because I was like, oh, wow, okay, if you're not creative and you're as successful as you are, then shoot, this is awesome. And she'll tell you that she uses everybody else's stuff. She doesn't create anything. So Canva is definitely awesome. When I do create anything, I create it from Canva. And it took me a while to kind of get a hang of it. And so if you're not like, it's not easy to work around. If you're brand new to Canva, give yourself grace again, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Like if like Nadia is my front line, so I'm her first line of communication. So if she said, Jess, I don't know how to use friggin' Canva, then she can call me and say, okay, walk me through how to use this thing, and I'm happy to do that. But I just want you guys to know that as long as you're moving forward in your business, celebrate that. And because the human in us always compares ourselves to everybody. It's just the human in us. But what, that naturally happens. But when you recognize you're comparing yourself to other people, recognize it, and take a step back and say, okay, I'm not doing that, or I'm not there yet. Use the word yet. And what can I do? Instead of focusing on what we can't do right now, focus on what you can do, and just recognize the progress you've made. The person I was talking to for 4 hours today, I was so excited when she said that, there's people in the business that have been in the same, in Scentsy the same amount of time, but on paper, like title wise, they look a lot further than she is, or their team size is bigger than she is. But I was so happy when she said, but you know what? My team doubled in a year. That's progress. And I was like, oh, thank you. Because that's not easy to do, to be able to say that your team doubled in 1 year. So recognizing healthy progress, instead of saying, well, shoot, she's been in the same time as I have, and she's like triple my numbers. If you look at the compare yourself to you and your business. So where were you last year at this time? All of you I know that are on live are in a different place from last year this time, and there's and it's meaning you've moved forward. It may not have been as much as you'd like it to, but focus on where you have areas to celebrate. Because if we don't celebrate the small things, it's going to be very hard to celebrate the big things. It's just everybody knows that in this business. So I remember doing a training call for the all consultant call actually a couple years ago, and they asked me, they're like, well, who celebrates? Do they ask me who celebrates for me, or how do I celebrate? Basically, I shared that I've never gotten real recognition from my sponsor or my direct superstar director. And so I could have used that as an excuse of why I can't do anything. My sponsor never did trainings at all in any way, except for my very first party she helped me close. Which was all I needed, to be honest with you guys. She helped me close a $4,000 launch party, which I would have been way over my head on how to do that. And I can say thank you for that, because now I know how to, close parties and how, deal with sales and whatever. Or I can say that's the only thing she's ever done for me, and that's it. So I choose to say she helped me in the hardest part of my business. Okay. And what I choose to also do, and I recommend this to leaders, is that if there's something that your sponsor or even your director or me are doing that you don't agree with, then just make sure you don't do it when you're in that position, because you have the ability to do that. You could choose of what type of leader you are. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong what they're doing or I'm doing. It just means that it's not authentically you. And that's okay, because there's already a Jess and we need you to be you as a leader. So I kind of really gone off the track, but let me see which, okay, so manifest it. Yes, Nadia. I always struggle with myself thinking I'm not doing enough for my team, but then I think they have to have drive too. Yes, so here I'm going to say it again. One day you guys are going to like count how many times Jess says it in the call. There's two sides to everything. One is that we have to make sure that as an individual, as a leader, we're not making excuses for ourselves of why we're not doing enough in the business. But on the same token, we also do have to recognize that their success is not determined by you. Okay, so you're absolutely right, Shauna, that here's the thing. One of the biggest things I learned when I took a big step back for an entire like year and a half of my business, I did the basics just to keep my business open, basically. But what I've learned by that happening is that the people that want it bad enough are going to get it whether I was involved at all. All I had to do is either be the sponsor and open the door for them, or be the director that provided, what I could, and they still grew in their business and they still went for what they wanted. They didn't sit around saying, well, Jess isn't doing this for me, or Jess isn't talking to me, or she's not offering to talk to me on a call, or they weren't waiting around for me. They went and got it, because that's why we have an upline, because you guys all know that Becca Levi, our upline superstar director, she's one of my best friends now, but that wasn't because she necessarily, reached out to me to try to train me. She noticed I was doing non-typical things, because I went from essential to star consultant in my first month, and I sponsored 5 people. And then the next month went straight to superstar. So those were just obvious. Okay, I need to talk to this person because she's not doing what normal people do. So she opened that door. But what I did is I kept that door open. She opened the door of saying, hey, I want you on a call. You're doing great things. But I didn't just say, oh, thanks for letting me speak, and then never talk to her again. I made it happen. Her team name is Make It Happen. I made it happen to have access to one of the most successful superstar directors in the company, which Jen Audette is her front line. So she learned the majority of what she learned from Becca Levi. So those 2 people I chose to stay very close in contact with. I didn't wait for them to call me and say, do you want to do a coaching call? Or do you have any questions? I went to them, and I still to this day, even though Becca's one of my best friends now on a personal level. When we talk business, I make sure I'm the one that says, hey, this is what I need. This is what I need to know. She doesn't just say like, hey, Jess, what are you doing in your business? What do you need help with? Because it's my business. And I may be perfectly happy with where I'm at. And so for her to reach out to me and say, oh, let me help, let's do a coaching call, so you can grow your business. Maybe I think my business is exactly where I want it to be. So the only way she knows is if I reach out to her and say, this is where I'm struggling and where I don't want to be. I want to grow in this area. Now she technically has permission to coach me. And they say that mentors and coaches have to give permission to do so. You can't just assume that somebody's going to mentor you. You have to ask them, will they mentor you? Will they coach you? And when they make the decision that they're willing to coach you or mentor you, that is a big deal, because that's a commitment on their level. So I want you guys to think about that. So, especially because all of you guys are sponsors on this call, we're probably not going to get to that other information. I'm so sorry, guys. I hope you got a lot out of that all consultant call. But again, that's part of this business, is that it's not cookie cutter. I can have a focus, but sometimes you're going to be led somewhere else. All right. Anyways, if you're not where you want to be, you need to reach out. You need to say, this is where my vision is. And right now I'm not there. And this is how you can help me. Or I don't know how you can help me, but this is where I feel I need help with. But, and so like, by somebody saying, like, if you're a sponsor, if you just say, hey, let me know if you have questions. Another director, the one I was telling you about, that I was talking to, she brought up a really good point. Maybe they don't know what questions to ask. And that's why coaching is important, because the coacher knows the right questions to ask. But until you connect with them, you won't know where they're struggling. So again, two sides. The person on your team may not know they need coaching, but you also have to assume that they're okay at the same time, unless they reach out to you. So how do you make a happy median? You offer it on your group pages. You email people saying, hey, I'd love to connect with you. This is how you can connect with me. And the people that want the connection are going to do it. Okay. Nadia is probably one of the most recent frontline I had that's on the call. And she saw that I have a link that has a schedule. And she respected that link, and literally immediately, because she wanted that connection, she scheduled herself into that calendar. I didn't call her and say, hey, I have a calendar. You want to talk to me? Like, no, she made it her own prerogative and mission to set up time with me. And so she's getting what she needs. Well, I'm hoping she's getting out of her, what she needs, but I can't guarantee that, but I'm hoping so. But she's not leaving it up to me. That's what I'm trying to say. She's saying, you know what, I want the connection. I want, the coaching, whatever. And so I'm going to make sure I get that, because Jess is saying, this is how you'll definitely get my time. So she's utilizing it. So you may not have a calendar yet, per se, of when you do coachings, but if you're not making sure people know that you want to connect with them and want to know, want to share your time with them, then it's going to be even harder for them to say, I don't know what to ask you, because you're not asking them either. I just checked the link and it's still not working. I thought I fixed it. Are you serious? Oh my gosh.
Maybe it's my bookmark. Can you just resend the link to me again?
Yes, because
My
you know what?
bookmark
Thank you for telling me that, because they have these new events that you have to deliberately set up certain events on this. I don't want to take too much time, but it may be like a different link connected to the event. So I will absolutely, when I get off this call, I will send you that other link, and then just text me and let me know if it worked again. If not, I'm I'm going to have to call. I don't know what to do. I'll figure out how to call, but I've been looking a way to talk to somebody and I can't find it. So it may be totally me, but see, and that's the thing, is that communication is so important. Unless Nadia tells me these things, like she's told me that I didn't even know it wasn't working until she was like, I don't think this is normal that you're totally booked the entire month. Like, I was like, no, that's not normal. So communication is so important, you guys, on both ends. We all need each other's help. It may look like I got it all figured out, but no, I don't. I'm winging it a lot of the time, you guys. I promise you. There's 10 years involved, so there's a lot of things I just do like a back of my hand, but there's also things that I'm still just trying to figure out that works for me in the new season of my life, literally. And I just want you guys to remember that and give yourself grace. Okay, we've got 5 minutes. I wanted to share with you guys real quick. Like I said, we're not going to get to the all consultant call. If you want to talk with me about that, if you got a lot of ahas or whatever, please email me and let me know so we can set up a time to chat. I'd love to hear it. But okay, so we are going to be starting a new consultant Zoom, a weekly new consultant Zoom. So whenever you sponsor somebody in any week, there's going to be a live call. Now, it's going to be on a Wednesday at 5:30. Okay, I'm going to email everybody all this so you know, but since you're on live or watching live on Facebook, that whenever you sponsor somebody, please do yourself a favor and me and your director to make sure they know about that call, because I email it to them in their welcome email, but they may not be seeing the email. It might go to spam. So just say, hey, there's a live Zoom that our upline provides. It's on the group page. So make sure they get added to our group page. And then there's going to be an event starting tomorrow or Wednesday I'm going to put it up tonight actually, but I wanted to tell everybody about it. Every week is going to be a different director hosting it. So there's going to be new nuggets that they get. So I would encourage them and you as their sponsor to get on there and hear what they're learning, because then you don't have to, basically, what's the word? Reinvent the wheel and do this, then they don't have to be listening to the same thing that they just got taught. And you wasting your time actually. So what it actually will be involved is pretty much things that they're not going to get in their first things first checklist, like important things that we feel that new consultants do need to know, that maybe their sponsors don't necessarily teach them. Because there are a lot of sponsors that aren't hands-on. They really don't want to share what they know. And some people accidentally sponsor a new person. And so the email is going to be there and I reach out to them. So there's always going to be a way for them to find out about this call. But if you are a sponsor that wants to be hands-on and want to help them, let them know about that call. And because of that, I made a little hiccup on, I created a little postcard that I send out within the first 70 days of their business. It's too big to pop in as a postcard, mail it by itself, as well as I have verbiage on the other side. So it has to be basically mailed in a big envelope. And so I usually mail it out with people that have hit shooting star and sensational start, because those people are telling me they're growing their business and they want to grow. So with that being said, I made a mistake, but I felt like there are no mistakes. It says join us Monday and Wednesday at 5:30. So this Monday call starting next week is going to be at 5:30. Now that may be inconvenient for some of you guys. I'm sorry, but because I spent a good penny on making these and I'm just going to roll with that. And here's the thing. It's easier for them to remember the same time for the two different calls than saying, well, this one's at 5, but this one's at 5:30 and blah, 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 blah. So, that's starting, the Wednesday call starts this Wednesday, and I'll be sending an email, like I said, and also creating an event on the group page for them to join. Also, I am going to be doing a monthly, and I may have mentioned it last time, I don't know. Oh yeah, I did, because of the bacon all consultant call that we did a couple weeks ago. I will be starting next month, not this month. I'm not going to put too much on my plate right now because I am moving. Starting next month, probably it's going to be the last week of every month is going to be a bacon night with which is become a consultant night. And I will send out all that information as well. So if you're having anybody struggle with deciding to join, you want to send them to this call. You want to say, hey, you know what? I may not have answered some of the questions or concerns you may have. You may not, the delivery that somebody else gets may help you kind of understand better. I don't know. Definitely jump on this call. And if you're on it with them, they're going to feel supported instead of just sending them to a call to figure, to learn everything they need to learn. Plus you're learning what they're learning. So, and it shows the family team orientation that they have more than just you to support them, that they also have other people to reach out, which is their upline, right? So it's going to be monthly, and I will be sending out that notification time and everything in a separate email. Okay. Does anybody have any questions before I let you guys go, or comments on what we talked about today, or what I talked about today? I'm sorry. Anyone? Let me look on the Facebook page. Let me see if anybody said anything. I thought I saw my face that it was live. What? Oh, it's on the wrong page. Sorry. There it is. Okay. Is anybody? Hi, Amanda. Hi, Gladys. Okay. So I didn't get any questions, but last call as far as the people that are on. Okay, so I promised everybody, I don't know if you heard, but I am going to close our team meetings with a team prayer, because I think that we could always, prayer is powerful, and that's how I get my strength. So I want to share that with you guys. So I will lead tonight, because not everybody is aware of it, so I'm not going to call you out. And I have to make sure I know that you like to pray too. So, okay. Our dear, kind, and gracious Heavenly Father, we come before Thee in gratitude that we're able to come together as sisters and brothers and on the same journey, striving to grow ourselves and help other people. We pray that those in life that need something to be a part of that's bigger than themselves and to help grow themselves, whether it's personally, financially, or just be a part of something, we pray that those people will be sent our way so we can bless them with this opportunity. We pray that we'll continue to grow as people and individuals and leaders and to be able to serve those people. And we're so grateful for all the blessings that this business provides to us and all the opportunities to continue to grow. We pray that all of our angels group and their families are well, and that if they are struggling, that they will be healed soon and have that comfort and peace that they need while they're going through their challenges, and that they know that they are loved and we're always thinking of them. We say these things humbly and gratefully in Thy Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay, my sweet friends, thank you so much. I love you all. And leaders, I'll see you in a few minutes.